Good morning, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch on Wednesday, April 5, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're all well. Folks, we need to have a talk about recent deep earthquake activity throughout our planet. Now, about a year ago, this was an assumption of mine, a prediction, because of changes within the outer core where our magnetic field is generated from. I surmise that we're going to see those change manifest up through our mantle plumes, which, when they come to the underside of the lithosphere, will spread in diameter. The crust sits on top of our lithosphere. And I had stated, we're going to see a couple of things. One, we're going to see heat indications where the crust is thinnest, which is the oceanic crusts, an average of 6 kilometers thick. And indeed, I have presented many occasions of heat anomalies throughout the ocean floor bottoms. Next, I said we're going to start seeing an increase in heat detections along the coastal areas or the continental shelves. And indeed, I have presented many examples. The coast of Norway, England, Scotland, Ireland, as well as other areas. I also suggested that we're going to begin to see deep earthquakes in areas where we do not have deep earthquake events. Now, there are several predetermined areas throughout our planet where we have deep earthquakes, Fiji being the most common. Sea of Octus, Argentina, and a couple of other areas. However, we are now seeing deep earthquakes in new locations. In the last 48 hours alone, let's go through a few. This morning, let's start off with the current. They're not all listed on this. Around the Nicaragua region, following the deep 4.4 earthquake at 503 kilometers, we do not have deep earthquakes at that location. We now have an increase in deep earthquakes, 3.7 at 394 kilometers, 3.2 at 262 kilometers, 3.9, 115 kilometers, and a 4.1 at 191 kilometers depth. Now, before I continue, let's take a look at Lake Nicaragua. And let's go through the history. So this lake was once an inland sea. This section of land previously did not exist, but due to massive volcanic activity, it enclosed the inland sea and created this lake. Now in the middle of this lake, of course, we have a couple of volcanoes. Now, people, earthquake forecasters, earthquake reporters, only think on the two-dimensional plane, transfer of energy around the plates. You got to get your head underneath and think about our mantle plumes and the pressure that's being exerted underneath the plate. Let's continue with our list of deep earthquakes. This morning, on the Peru-Brazil border, we have three magnitude 5 earthquakes at 556 kilometers. Occasionally, we will see deep earthquakes in this region right here. However, more common in Argentina. Let's go back 2 days. We had a deep earthquake in the South China Sea, which is actually on the border of Borneo. Most of Borneo is Indonesia territory, and the other side is Malaysia. We had a couple of 5.6s at 607 kilometers deep. We do not ever have deep earthquakes at this location. The following day, however, we had what appears to be a massive steam plume emission coming out of the waters. So our deep earthquakes were right here. And for the previous week, I had been monitoring some heat indications in this area. On the same day, okay, it's off this feed now, we had a deep earthquake between Australia and Indonesia in the East Timor Sea. That was a 4.8 at 384 kilometers deep. We do not have deep earthquakes in this location. Moving along. The most common area for deep earthquakes is Fiji. This area of Fiji. However, Santa Cruz Islands, we do not have deep earthquakes in this area. This is the second time. 4.3s at 642 kilometers deep. Two other locations. Prior to the massive earthquakes, plural, more than one, in Turkey, there was some deep earthquake activity in this region here. There is minor deep earthquake, as well as in France. So, we have some magma plume actions. Our deep earthquakes will occur at the mantle transition zone, right about here. As for the heat anomalies, again, the ocean floors. Now, I reported a few days ago one of the islands, Cabo Verde. This one here. Right in this region, was completely lit up with heat anomalies. There was no indication of any wildfires. There was no smoke on the satellite imageries, and now, of course, they're all gone. See if I can bring it up. Correction, this one here. And now, gone. So this was not a wildfire situation, folks. The same thing, the north tip of New Zealand. Now, someone, I'm welcome to any corrections. We had a massive spread here. So if anybody can confirm whether or not we had a massive wildfire situation here, including in the sands. And as previously reported, this entire region here, Norway, England, Scotland, and Ireland, continental shelf. So the latest one yesterday, this is actually in the waters. However, my concern is, of course, our mantle plumes and our new location, deep earthquakes. So I'm going to leave it here for now, folks. So again, let's not think two-dimensional energy flowing around the plates and the plates being pushed one way or the other. I think a lot of people are missing the picture. Again, you got to get your head underneath the crust. We have a series of deep earthquakes around this region here. We have the 6.6 here off the coast of Panama. We now have deep earthquakes, Nicaragua region. So you need to think the pressure, the rising heat, the energy, magma wave action through a mantle plume. That's it for now.